Hello everyone, Dan here, bringing you the first of what will hopefully be several videos in a series of Let's Rewatch. We're going to take a look here at our Limbo Deathless Normal Route Speedrun. The big goal for this run was to just kind of learn it on a whim, get under an hour, get under 50 minutes, and then above all, just finish it without dying, and this was the run that did that. So we're just going to take a look. I'll kind of explain what happened through the run, and just talk about it a little bit of a reminisce. And we'll see how it turns out. So yeah, this is our first time doing this, so if you like it, be sure to let me know. Oh, I don't want to get right into it, and enjoy the great Limbo. So you'll notice the run prior to this ended with a death. That was me impaled by a spider, unfortunately, but here we go. We're waking up to get ourselves started out here. So Deathless Limbo is quite tricky. I'd say it was even trickier than learning the run itself, just on the fact that the boy here is incredibly fragile. Next to anything will take him out. Even a fall too far. Some of them you'll see me take are pushing it to the limits itself, like this right here is a great example. If I was another foot or two further down, that leads to an untimely death. So we're just doing kind of the basics here. You will see me doing a lot of bunny hop. Well, not bunny hops necessarily, kind of like an FPS, but we'll do a lot of hopping as it is indeed faster than just running throughout here. But pretty straightforward here in the start. I've always found this game fascinating. It's a big reason why I wanted to go ahead and pick it up and learn it. Just the visual style, obviously, is very appealing, and just something about that great isolated feeling that the game creates, but also in its own odd, isolated way feels incredibly alive. Maybe it's just because while they don't show a lot of stuff, everything they show has an impact, has a meaning. Makes it for quite the game here. So yeah, you'll notice on the boat there I was going back and pushing forward, just a little bit of a speed tech there and it nudges the boat forward just a little bit. It's not like a massive time save here, but it's one of the things that helps. The traps will become your friends, namely in regards to spacing your jumps. You will jump to varying degrees based on how hard and long you hit the jump button. They're just kind of teaching us here how the traps will work. The idea that they will indeed clamp, and that'll let us jump up here. But yeah, I figured this was a great run to start this with, just because while this is far from one of my best speed runs, I think I'm ranked in the 80s. I just always thought I was really proud of this run, though, just because I've played this game for a long time, or over the course of, the 10 years it's been out now, and I was never able to even get the -3 deaths for the longest time, which is one of the achievements or trophies, whichever one to call it. So to finally get to a point where it could be done without a death, it was pretty nice. It was pretty special to me, so I wanted to make this the first video in this little series. You'll notice here I'm taking the box. This is the, what you would call dev intended route. There's actually a speed tech that I never learned. I never bothered. I kind of wanted to keep this, I don't want to say glitchless, if that's the right word, but where it's mostly just playing it straightforward. But there is a trick you can do where that crate I pushed over, you can kind of trigger a weird, awkward forward momentum bounce, and it'll actually propel you across the river. It's quite cool to see. Yeah, obviously just pushing that log as far as needed, but no further. Yeah, you can trust those long jumps. The boy is surprising with his jumps. Sometimes it will feel like he jumps half as far as he should, and it'll kill you. Or there's other times where You know, he manages to just get out there just barely enough. Obviously, we're going to bait the spider 3 times here, past the initial attacks. And there we go, there's the third one. That's going to knock this down. We're going to grab the trap from the side nearest the spider. You don't have to hop, that way you don't have to worry about hopping over it again. But again, we're just going to bait the attack here, and that spider's going to land right... Ouch. And then we're going to do it again. Now for the third one, we're going to want to move, though. Because this third attack is a little faster, your trap will not be ready. If the trap's not fully open, then the spider is going to... he'll get you there. You also cannot go too early here. Even after propping its leg, like let's say you set the trap and the leg's going down, the spider will stop you. You have to actually get the trap to close on the leg before you can move forward. But the spider's got other plans for us, and namely right here was that webbing we're right about to walk into. So I'm going to address a question that if you're watching this, you may be wondering right off the bat of, what about inside? Will you do inside? And the answer is yes. I intend to first learn the speedrun for inside, much like we did with Limbo, with the ultimate goal of being to achieve a deathless speedrun. With a time I'm pretty satisfied with, but of course being deathless, much like, which is what this run became. This isn't the type of game I would want to push like a record time in or anything like that necessarily, although this took a lot of attempts and, you know, a lot of time total. But it's not that type for me personally, but we will eventually do that with Inside as well. So this is the tricky part. You notice how I did that little pace, the little small jump there right before the gap. That gap had killed me more than anything in this game. Pacing your jumps is very important when you're wrapped up here. Because, well, you just, you know, you don't have a movement beyond it. You have to trust how far you're going to jump on each of these attempts, and yeah, it can get you a lot of times, but you know, just pace it out. It can be done. Same with this boulder here. This was another thing that would get me a lot is, you know, don't force the issue too much here. Just hang on the side and kind of jump backwards. Let it do its work, do its thing. As long as you keep it moving the whole time, you should be fine from the spider getting you here. The spider can indeed catch up, but like I said, if you keep the boulder moving, you should be fine. And you can finally fall down here and get out of that webbing. Just going to keep going here. We're going to trigger the bear trap fall here. Make sure it doesn't fall on top of you. Very easy to easy to kind of let the momentum of things snag you there. But yeah, once again, just keep jumping, keep your momentum up as much as possible. Here's where it's a great thing, because we're going to make some jumps that it seems like he shouldn't be able to make, kind of like I was alluding to before. I'm going to jump on there, break that log, get out of the way, jump back. Another long jump here. And go ahead, you can just wait on that one. Alright, and we'll just keep going, keep heading forward. You may even notice on the screen I have this is actually the model of a PS3 controller. I'm actually using a PS4 controller, just where I grabbed the image for the controller on screen. The PS4 model did not look great, so I opted for the PS3 one. But ultimately, this is the PC version of the game on Steam. That's where my timer on the left is actually using the auto splitter for the game. Alright. And pretty straightforward stuff here, though. You can try and jump over the flaming wheel there. If you time it just right, you can get over. But it was one of those things that once I kind of committed to the idea at the time, yeah, I knew what I was going to do. The movement on the traps there is pretty straightforward. It's, what I did is exactly what you need to do. It's the big thing is to not, I guess, recognize how much slack the traps have to how low you actually have to go, so you don't overrun, assuming it'll go over you. But I'd say that's an experience thing as much as anything. And if you're trying to use this guide, this video is something of a guide to try and get your 3 death trophy or achievement. I would just rewatch it a couple times, and it won't take you long to get the right judgment. It's pretty straightforward stuff. And we gotta wait for our buddy the spider here. Also, seeing the spider here gives me a perfect opportunity as we set him up for his demise here. Thanks to his help with this boulder. It gives me a great opportunity to thank Platinum Trophy Wife for creating my thumbnail for this video. She actually used the spider as part of it. So big thanks to her. Shout outs. Make sure you check her channel out as well, or if you need any artwork done yourself for various things. But yeah, we're gonna continue on after the spider here. And you'll notice this run, it's not fast-paced in regards to the boy doesn't move very quick. He doesn't, have all these flashy jumps like, he's Ryu from Ninja Gaiden or something along those lines. There's nothing like that here. But the game keeps moving pretty well. And when it comes in at under 50 minutes, I would say we'll say 55 minutes if you're trying to speedrun it, and I think you can get around 55 minutes probably pretty quick. With that, between the constant movement and that shorter time frame, it actually is a pretty solid speedrun, despite not having the big flashy movements or even music, really. That's a very underrated thing about a speedrun, and it's something I mention all the time, is music can make or break a speedrun. I do a lot of Parasite, for example, and the music is the backbone of that run. But this game manages to achieve that level of quality and feel, and again, the excellent pace without anything like that. It's an underrated speed game, and if you check out speedrun.com, though, there's a good number of runners for this title. I think it's north of 200 at the moment I'm recording this, so a number of people have figured that out. But yeah, I think it's one that if you mention to somebody that hasn't sped ran anything or looked at speedruns, it would probably catch them off guard. And so we jump across the dead body there, though, and drag this other dead body over here. This is a common spot to easily die, where you're pulling that guy's body and you'll almost use the momentum and pull yourself back. I did that more often than I'd like to admit, and would end up getting crushed there for weird reasons. Oh, I should make mention, if you're looking at the splits in the bottom left, you'll see the 9 of 61. Those splits are, the splits are accurate in regards to the time. However, the attempts and the total playtime are incorrect. The attempt counter should be around roughly 400, I believe it was what it would have been at, and the total playtime around 70 hours. I did not achieve this run in 13 hours and counting, as the bottom of the thing may suggest. It took a lot more practice than that. That was just a situation where I was dealing with the auto splitter, and I had a couple runs get screwed up because of it, where it was messing up my sum of best, so I wanted to adjust it to make it right. So it was more on that side of things, not the... this it's not like I achieved this in that short amount of time. And it took me a lot of practice and everything, and typically I'm a slower learner with speed games and everything anyway, but yeah, just wanted to clear that up to give an idea. But yeah, as we're moving through here, just doing some of the more straightforward puzzles. I think this game does a good job of... I think a lot of the puzzles are solutions, if you want to call some of this stuff puzzles. I think they have that perfect mix of complicated without making you feel stupid, where it feels like you almost luck your way into solutions of puzzles in some games, where this game it feels like, you take enough time, you'll figure it out. So here's our first sighting of the Mind Slug. These fine fellows fall on the boy's head and will actually take control of him. So you can control his movement to a degree, in that you can actually slow him down, which we'll play into a part later. If you hold the opposite direction, it will slow the boy down, and you can control when he jumps. However, you cannot control the direction he goes. The only time he will turn the opposite way is when you enter a form of light, which happened both times there. But yeah, I think there's 3 or 4 instances of them across this run here. There's this little guy. We're gonna scare him off, but we're gonna lure him back into place by dropping one of these mushrooms. I assume that's a mushroom. And we're gonna chase him over here to this hamster wheel. Well, sort of serves as a hamster wheel anyway, to power things up, and yeah, it's gonna power everything up and trigger some rain. Unfortunately, that poor guy is stuck in the wheel for the foreseeable future, but we are able to move on, so there is that. And again, notice we're still hopping. Don't grab the rope there for the pipe just yet. We need to wait. We need to get yourself set up here. So move this board to about the midpoint, and that should be fine. And then go ahead and fill it up with water, and we're going to jump across. I guess I should clarify one thing too. You'll notice this is the Limbo normal route. You may have noticed that on the left as well. What the normal route means is this is the route where we will climb a ladder and see the fly and continue onward from that pathway. There's another spot, which I'll point out when we get there, where you actually can part in a different direction, and if you have collected all the eggs in the game, will open up to a new challenge arena type spot. And this is by far the most difficult segment of the game. I tried it out for the first time, actually, after achieving this run. It might have been the same night, in fact. And it is very difficult. You're doing a lot of it in pitch black, a lot of saw jumps in pitch black, where the only light you have are the boy's eyes. And yeah, it was a really neat challenge, and I believe you will need to do it if you want to get all the achievements or trophies. But there is a separate speedrun for it called the hard route, and that is what that pathing is. But this one we just do the one you'll do on your first playthrough, most likely, unless you've collected all the eggs. But I don't even... Oh, no, wait, actually, you can't even do that, technically, because there are eggs after it. There are also speedruns for doing all the eggs as well. I was going to learn that, but I opted not to. I was pretty happy with this run, and I had put a lot of time into it and was kind of ready to move on and take on some other challenges. But maybe one day, and maybe we'll come back and do a Limbo 2.0 with featuring all the eggs. Only time will tell there. There we go, just pretty standard movements and puzzle solutions here. A lot of this stuff is straightforward. And all I can say with the water is, do not underestimate how much it can frustrate you. Because the boy, the second he is too deep, even if it looks like he could reach up somewhere, he will drown. So definitely do not waste your time. And there we go. This is an example of a puzzle that every time I went to do this, it felt like there was always more to this puzzle. Like I was gonna have to manage the water and, you know, get one level so high and the other one so low, so that way I could jump across both. Nah, it's nothing that fancy. You literally just pull that first lever, let it play out, pull the second one, and hop across there, and it's just that easy. And that's, to this day, one of the more surprising ones. So here's our second instance. All right, you notice how the mind worm, or grub, whatever you want to call it, is swinging there. You need to make sure it is not swinging fully to the left, when you go to drop in front of it. If you do that, it will grab you before you can grab the box, and then you will walk off the side because you have not been able to move the box yet. So be very careful there that you catch the swing when it's going to the right, away from you. Because if you try to grab that box early, though, before then, you will die. I learned all too well. But since we have the box set up, we're going to just come back here, do this. And what's really nice, I'm glad they did this with this mechanic, is the slug, obviously it can control your movement, but ladders will keep you stationary. So like right here, I'm glad they just let you wait here instead of, I don't know, maybe turning the, well, this section would have had to been designed differently from the get-go, but I think this idea here is a lot better than having it be a giant ladder sequence like it was out of Donkey Kong or something like that. I think this is just right for this, but make sure you wait plenty of time here. Do not rush this jump. There's no reason to. You can just kind of step off once it gets high enough, and then you can easily make the jump to the right. If you wait, if you go too early, then the slug's going to make you walk, and if you can't make that jump to the right, you're going to die, and you're going to have to do that entire section again, too. And, well, whether you're speedrunning or not, doing a section like that multiple times because of a little bonehead thing like a missed jump is about as frustrating as it can get for me personally, so I would imagine I'm not alone there. But alright, the hotel sign, pretty straightforward here. Just jump, just keep your momentum and you will time the electricity right. So you're gonna run here, make sure you hold your jump. You'll notice or hold your grab, excuse me, but do not jump. This is where the controller input will be helpful if you're trying to do this trick. You can wait this out more if you want to play it safer, but you'll notice I just kind of ran across the O the whole time until the light went out and just fell, but I fell holding it. If you try to jump or anything like that, it will plummet you into the pit, where it's almost like the boy just won't grab on. It's really weird. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Here we are. We're going to be introduced to the ladder and the wheeled ladder mechanic. It's so smooth how this game does it, where they'll just throw this random piece of equipment like a ladder on wheels in here for, you know, it makes sense of how we're using it to solve here, but it serves as a little training tutorial thing that this is an item in the game and this is how it's going to work. They put it in a low consequence situation. And, you know, it'll prep you for, well, when there might be some consequence. But you'll be ready because you've used it. So when we get down here anyway, go to the left there first and push that scaffolding over, because this worm or slug is going to fall on your head, and obviously it's going to force you to go left as we're doing now. However, if you try to push the scaffolding, you're going to keep walking forward and you'll get crushed by it because you won't be able to back out like I did. So, yeah, you want to go left and get rid of it first and then go grab the slug. If you're wondering if you can skip the slugs, you cannot. There is nothing that I know of anyway will allow you to not have to deal with them at all. Believe me, I would have skipped a number of them if that was the case. Here we go. You're just gonna keep on jumping. Really an interesting puzzle here that we'll be doing in a few minutes. First usage of elevators. Yeah, this is a very dangerous little section, though. This is also where we're going to have to slow down. So, right about here, you're going to see me slow down. I'm holding the opposite side of the stick. With the, you'll see I'm holding left up there on the controller input, even. This is so that way I'll have enough time to get to the box and jump over the saw. Because if you're moving at normal speed, you'll get to the box too early, and the saw is going to... You're going to jump right into the saw. It won't be close enough to you to get over it. Yeah, then just, after you feed the birds, just jump on over and start making your way back to the left. These here, I played it safe. It's the old teeter-totter weight thing. It feels like, I'll tell you, it feels like some of these jumps, like that one in particular, it's like, man, I really think I can make it. And I missed a few of them, and it may have scared me out of trying, but I'll tell you, it was, I was at a point that I wanted Deathless, I wanted the speedrun to be decent. I'll risk losing the 5 seconds, 7 seconds, whatever it would be, and not die. That's just the way it goes sometimes. It all depends on where the goals lie, and I think for this situation, that was the right call. So yeah, we're gonna move this crate over, hit the elevator. This is one of my favorite little puzzles again. I don't know what you call these, like, it's almost like an interesting task that you need a solution for. We're going to push that, but you hit this elevator to go down, and you actually grab the elevator to serve as the weight, so that way the little, the thing we're pushing the box up won't tip over. I think that's a really clever little solution to that, is using the elevator itself. So we're going to put the box there. I always aim right for that crane handle in the background to get a little bit to the right of it. But we're going to wait for the rope to get all the way down, then flip it back. And we're going to start climbing and start swinging. We want to get another full revelation, or swing in. Yeah, okay. So we're going to, this is just a feel for it. I always just, it's hard to describe the timing there. I just kind of always did it by instinct. But about 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds, hit the second button there and you should be able to catch it. You will need to catch it though. If you screw that up, you will die. Oh, and right here when I mentioned the dark route, see, you saw the thing crawling under there, and there's clearly something you can do down there. That is what leads to the dark route, or the hard route, which is the alternate speedrun path. This is where it would part ways. Alright, so this fly is a jerk. This guy gave me so many headaches. So you'll notice every time I move closer and closer, he sticks his head up. If you move at all while his head is up, he will fly away. So I'm playing this super safe until I'm close enough and I finally grab his leg. He can be a pain, though, I will tell you. Sometimes it feels like he will hold his head up there for 20 minutes. And really, it's like 5 seconds, but impatience, especially speedrunning, will... make that feel like an eternity, but just wait him out and, do your little movements. and you'll get by him. I was just relieved to be past him without any headache. Alright, so we're gonna come here to our the wheel puzzle here. Yeah, this is an easy mistake though. What you want to do is you want to grab this first one and pull it back towards to the left. The one on this other one though, you want to leave there because you need to move and get onto the other side of it, or you won't have the time to move it again. That's very clever, very clever. And just pull it towards you and then push this one forward and down, and we're done. Just head on out. Easy as that. Be careful, don't fall straight down that ladder there. It will kill you. I've lost Deathless runs to that spot. It's such an easy spot to just fall there too, but do not do it. This is a great showing of the game's consistency as well. This wheel will have the same momentum every time you play this. So you push it to the end there, and it will roll and hit the button every time. It's not like you randomly have to push it at a different speed or be running at a certain way or anything like that. No, it's just going to roll that same way every time. It's a little quality of life thing, especially in a speedrun where you're valuing... Consistency is a great thing. So many games are so volatile, so... I'll take consistency wherever we can get it. Alright, the gear here, though. Yeah, pretty obvious. We're just going to move this box up here. Some interesting box and gear puzzles coming up. But watching this back, it's it's nice because I'm seeing it without having to worry about the stress of screwing something up beyond the commentary here. I apologize for any of those, but anyway, it gives me a nice appreciation for how well this game upped the ante when it's puzzles very gradually. They were very smooth with it, very nicely paced. There we go, you're gonna hit that first one. Just keep pushing the blocks though. So we're gonna wait for it to get down, and thankfully the hitbox is generous with the boy there that you don't have to go back. There you go, push this one over here, then use the block here and jump up. Pretty straightforward stuff. Do not hit the switch there, by the way. It will pretty much screw you up if you do, because it'll move the chain to the middle and you'll be in trouble. You want to swing the chain to get it some momentum, and then we're going to take advantage of that momentum. Since it's in the middle, now we can actually reach it and then swing across. That's actually a pretty easy spot to die, and often I'll take an extra swing on the chain there to get some more momentum. I didn't do it here though, it was a little risky, but it worked out pretty well. And this is when I was thinking, because that's a spot I died a lot at, I was like, okay, we got a real shot at this thing now. Because I got past that part, we're on a decent pace. You know, let's do this. And yeah, once again, we're gonna grab the gears here. Just kind of work our way up. I think this area is so neat. I love the fact that the whole environment, it's not just isolated gears and cogs affected by everything. The whole world, this whole factory, is the machine itself. It's really neat. Alright, there we go. Nice use of the magnet there. Yeah, you want to get it to where that box lines, like the end of that, right into that box ends with the start of that last little piece of the rail there. And that should give you enough room. That jump to the ladder looks far, and it probably is, but it can be done. So I'm doing a bit of a safety strat here. You can do this after hitting the lever, but I died too much, and this was Deathless now, so I was like, nah, I'm not risking it. You can hit the lever, then pull the box, but if you're too slow, the box will fall and you'll die. So I decided not to worry about it. But yeah, make sure you do not climb the chain too high either, where it'll be that situation where you're climbing and it's almost like you're reaching for something and there's nothing there, so your character will fall. And well, again, if you fall, you're pretty much done. Oh, and I almost climbed down there, because see what happened there was I climbed down the chain and I was still holding down from the moment, and I almost climbed down the box. Oh my goodness, I can't believe how close that actually happened in this run. Oh geez, yeah, my heart is probably pounding a million beats a minute right now. Or nice feeling of relief where it's like, okay, I'll take whatever time loss, I don't care. I didn't die there. Oh goodness. I'm stressed seeing that one. So here we go. I believe this is our last instance of the oh wait, never mind. Let's not jump ahead. Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah. So this gives us our first sign of the little bit of the lore of the game. The whole point of the game is the boy is going through this limboed world looking for his sister. That's it. You'll notice I did some slowdown running to make sure because if you go too quickly up the gears there with the mind control slug, it will actually carry your momentum forward and you'll miss the next gear and fall into the gap. Be very, very careful there. We're trying to try for the one cycle here. Jump, run, jump. And you want to jump. Ideally, you grab this right here. There you go. That was, yeah. That's very risky, though. Make sure you take your time if you're not feeling comfortable with that. By the way, that ladder there leads to a gold egg. It's a random tidbit. Yeah, it's kind of hang out here in the middle a little bit. Don't rush yourself too far forward so you can easily get the birds to grab you there. Hit that box for the nice gear thing. And then grab this ladder here. This next bit was one of the hardest things for me to get down, was the timing on this. To make it so that gear on the right will be headed the right way for your momentum to easily jump up and grab the ladder. I noticed I just barely get the last rung there. You needed to be turning this way so the gear that I'm on currently will be heading the right way to let you up, but I will tell you that took some practice to get right, at least for me. I don't know. I feel like it was one of them things I always felt like I was making tougher than it actually is. For this next part, make sure you go and get this cart first. If you do not get this cart first and move it under that switch, all this solution you'll be doing right now will be for nothing because you're going to die. So push the ladder to the right, just like this. Climb up it. You want to be up on the top of the ladder by when it's at its highest point there. And, yeah, and then wait for the ladder to get back to the middle. Then hit the lever. And now jump. And that ladder doesn't have much speed left in it, but it's just enough to let you get over there. And then jump. Now hit this, and you're going to fall after turning on the electricity on the tracks, which will kill you if you touch it. And time for the cart. And really, there's only a couple little danger spots here. It's mainly, you'll notice I slowed down a bit to let the cart get in front of me so I could jump over the saw blade there and land on the cart. You want to, if you try to stay paced with your cart there, there's a chance you'll miss it. And just go ahead and jump off there. We're gonna move our cart back. Now, depending on how much you trust your momentum, oh, I was risky here. You can get in front of it and trust your momentum to, you can trust your momentum of pulling it back to let you forward like I did, or you can get in front of it and push it back some more. But, whichever is safe, you feel comfortable with there. But yeah, I did the riskier strat there. I'm surprised. I figured I would have played it safe there. But at the same point, this is a speed run. You know, I was trying to do the best I could in terms of time as well. I wanted to get this under 47 for sure. So that was part of the motivation. I didn't want to play everything safe at the same point. Yeah, just wait for the crate here. I suspect there's a way to get underneath here without using the crate. I haven't looked enough at the top speedruns to know. But anyway, introducing the guns. These guns here are a little weird in that you need to use the top gun to shoot the one I'm standing on. It's weird though, sometimes, all of that, and this is a case of that, sometimes it will destroy that gun in one little series, of one little burst there. But times, and just like that one right there, it just sometimes will take an extra burst. I don't really understand why that is, but unfortunately it decided to happen there. And then, but anyway, now along with the guns being introduced, we're introduced to the gravity puzzles, and these are pretty cool. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just climb up that first one. There's a lot of times, with as flimsy as the kid is in this game, there are so many instances where I feel like that box running into you down the ramp with some momentum, it seems like that should definitely do him in, but thankfully it does not. You know, I usually push it past, oh no, I push it all the way up here. Yeah, we're just gonna climb back up that ladder we lowered though. Alright, and then just try and get this pretty well lined up. It doesn't have to be perfect. But what we're gonna want to do is that box, we're gonna want to ride that box up using the gravity and then jump to the right. The tricky part to it is to make sure you keep the kids centered on the box. If you're on the one or the edge either side too much, you're going to kind of tilt it with your momentum and weight, and it'll flip you off either forward or backward, and well, you definitely don't want that. Yeah, here we are. We're entering the final little stretch of the game here. Gonna combine some of everything here, the elevators, the boxes, the guns, and the gravity. First, we're gonna trigger that gun to shoot the box down. I love this section, by the way. It was very stressful to do, especially in the situation I'm in right now, but I do love this section. And the final area is like the chef's kiss, if you will. It is so well done, despite how frustrating it could be. But, yeah, you notice I'm just turning this thing off and on, kind of carrying that box's momentum forward. That took a little longer for me to learn than I care to admit, but, or well, get it to be that smooth. So you'll notice I'm turning off the elevator so I can move the box. I was, for a while, trying to move the box and just kind of keep it up there and skip the elevator part. And, well, one time I ended up moving it and I ended up getting shot by the gun. And speaking of which, this is what the block is for, is to block the gun on the bottom right there. Or I would end up pulling the box down and it would land on top of me, thus killing me. So I decided I wasn't going to worry about that anymore. But yeah, here we are on the ceiling. We're going to go get that box that we just did the little mini puzzle, little gravity puzzle thing with. And the one that we pushed over there, we're going to use those to help us climb up here to bring us to the final section of the game. So I usually try to get this right in front of the... Oh, I kind of pushed it there. That's actually pretty... Oh, yeah, that's fine. Alright, so I'm going to wait for it to come back out, though. And then this should be a smooth, easy jump up. Yeah, the positioning... This is a pretty non-consequential area, so just, you know, work on the placement. It's you'll get it. And more jumps. Then we got these block puzzles here. Skip the first switch, turn on the magnet first. And then you just want to kind of hit it and then hit it again pretty quickly after. The idea is that since the block on the left is higher up, it'll reach the magnetized roof or ceiling first before the one on the right does. So that's why you have to turn it off before the one on the right would come over. A little tricky, but it's doable. And then just watch the hit point here. You want to try and hit this when the thing is right. I look at the indicator, the thing holding the string, that pipe there. If it's right about there, I'll hit it. Be careful jumping off that rope too, because you can go right into the spikes and die. But alright, here we go. Hotel sign. Chased by saws. Gravity area. Jump, hit the thing there, and then jump again. To safety. Jump. Onto the pipe. Oh, risky jump, and I get off. Oh, that was risky. Why did I do that? But anyway, and we're gonna jump, and this is the final stretch. I love these puzzles, although God, I hated them here. So you need to push this block over. You need to get yourself lined up, and I'll tell you, there are some times you can be hitting those switches. You could be mashing square or whatever the interact is on, keyboard or whatever. And sometimes I'd swear they just would not hit. So that happens. Believe me, I've been there. Patience is key here, though. Listen to the background, the little beeps. Yeah, you want to hang to the right there, so that way you have enough time to get across this block before it crushes you. Sweaty palms, I promise you. Right here. Alright, there we go. Jump and run across. This is the big one. Because you have to just trust the game there, that your timing is going to be right. And the final jump here. Okay, you can't go too soon. If you go too soon, you'll fly into the roof and hit the blades. We turn, we hit it, and we're done. That is Limbo Deathless. Completed in 46 minutes and 50 seconds. Oh, boy, it was a fun rewatch. But yeah, I love this game. I love this speedrun. And I hope we can do some more videos like this in the future. If you enjoyed it, do all the YouTube stuff. The like, it helps. Move the video up the list. And, consider subscribing if you like horror games speedruns, challenge runs, anything like that. I offer a lot of it. And, if there's other games you'd like to see, like I mentioned earlier, Inside, that will be coming, coming in the future. I've done Little Nightmares and Little Nightmares 2 for more horror platformers. I want to kind of maybe clean up Little Nightmares 2, especially to get to where maybe we get a Deathless run on that as well. But yeah, check any of that out. Again, big shout outs to Platinum Trophy Wife for kind of brainstorming this a little bit, and then also making the thumbnail for the video. So big thanks to her. Big thanks to everybody over at the Twitch channel, which is where this was recorded. I do the recording, and the recording is done with just the game timer and the controller, and it's all done live stream. I'm actually commentating and freaking out probably right now that this just happened finally. So if you want to interact live, I stream as of let's see, today's August 4th, 2022. I stream 6 days a week. So if you want to see some horror games and horror game speedruns and all that stuff, consider checking me out over there. The name is Dan Survival over there as well, with that weird underscore in the middle. But yeah, I guess that is all I've got for you. We'll let the final bits play out here, and we'll call it a night. So yeah, thank you again for watching, and yeah, you have a great rest of your day.